Good afternoon, New York City. I'm going down 5th Avenue on this particular day. The 40th time New York City celebrates its gay pride. Let me introduce you a group of regulars I've just met. Hi girls, can you tell us why marching through New York City streets means so much for you today? Who wants to share her opinion first?
Well, I'm not really a regular of this event. Actually, it's only the second time I'm taking part in it, but I truly appreciate this atmosphere of solidarity. You know, this feeling of being all part of the same family. In this world, full of scorn and indifference, I think it's important not to hide and to assert ourselves. And when I see the masses of all the young people here today, the younger generation, our generation, we are the ones coming up in the world, and we must continue to push this movement forward and close the gap. We must demand full equality for all. They say this country is free, and they say this country is equal, but it is not equal if it's sometimes. Let's bring their words of promise to a reality. Our century is destined to be a century of change, isn't it? We need change now. We demand action now. Homophobia runs rampant.
Absolutely. And even if you don't feel concerned, you are. That's what Martin Luther King meant when he claimed, "It's not the words of your enemies that you remember, but the silence of your friends." Remember this sentence every time you ignore them, every time you think you can't do anything. Because you can do something, and you have to. That's why we can no longer be silent. We really want this march we are making all together today to have an impact in our day-to-day lives. I think people tend to see this parade as a media-staged event, a useless march which insults society's customs. This cliché has to be destroyed. Each year, we fight to make a change. The more we will be, the more our voice will be taken into account. Never forget, unity is strength.
What do you mean by that? What sort of effects?
We want to change, to overthrow the public opinion. A change which would allow homosexual couples to live in serenity. A change which would root out anguish and persecution. A human being remains a human being. Tested choices cannot put it in jeopardy, because gay rights are part of civil rights. Yes, we do think that gay rights are a civil rights issue. Beyond this parade, there are real people, men and women of every age, every race, every background and every station in life, who simply ask for your acknowledgement of their rights to be who they are. And when you really think about it, what do you lose in a deal? Is your way of life really threatened, as some say? Do your marriages really need to be protected for theirs? If you look further than the end of their nose, you'll see they're not different from you. They've got 2 horns, 2 legs, eyes, and a heart. Like you. Of course a heart which doesn't beat for the same gender, but it does beat, like yours. As you can claim one taste is better than another, how could you establish a hierarchy between physical attractions? When a society prevents homosexual couples from leading the life they want to lead, I call it discrimination. It is merely based on nothing. We just find aberrant that a minority class, which is born this way, is being deprived from certain constitutional rights and legal protection that the majority class enjoys as irrevocable, ineffaceable, inalienable. That by itself is the definition of civil rights. Each country is governed by a standard that transcends governments and generations. Humanity requires that we are stewards of justice for all people.
You hinted at the wedding issue. Some countries legalized same-sex marriage, didn't they?
It is still not enough. How can you explain that only 5 states of the USA allow them? And New York isn't even one of them. Moreover, Iowa is planning to go back over it, and California did better, having allowed it during 5 months and revoked it afterwards. In Europe, marriages for homosexual couples are allowed in only 5 countries. But I think it's in France. Here in France, there's a pact which allows civil partnership between same-sex couples. This pact gives them some legal rights. Anyway, it doesn't permit them to adopt or to use assisted reproductive technology. Don't you think children would be better off in a loving family with 2 moms or 2 dads than in an orphanage? I urge you to look at these very practical questions and tell me which is more important. Especially in a country where we confuse our children when we teach them that all men are created equal. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights says all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights.
According to the Bible, a man shall never have sexual relations with another man. What do you think about it?
The Bible claims that gays will never find love and happiness only because they are attracted by someone of the same sex. I'm sorry, there's inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness after all. Black or white, Baptist or Muslims, rich or poor, gay or straight. It's clear that you cannot compare the suffering of one oppressed group to another. Doing so diminishes its importance in history, and it's a warning never to repeat it. But you certainly can compare the pathology of those who hate. What common threats exist, no matter what group is subject of oppression? Over many centuries, fundamentalist religious teaching of all kinds is given momentum for movements of hate. From the Crusades to the Taliban, from the Ku Klux Klan to the Westboro Baptist Church, these acts of men debase the teachings of a loving God and a peaceful religion. It is about the elemental notion that oppression of any kind is simply wrong. Sometimes people hate simply because of a lack of understanding. The fundamental argument on the table for some is that gays don't deserve equal treatment because of a choice they have made. Maybe at some point in their lives, they just decided to be that way. Why would anyone have to be the target of ridicule, bullying, and threats? The only choice involved is on the part of the oppressor, who chooses the part of persecution over integration. Millions among millions of people around the world are standing up and demanding equality, and we will win.
What would you say to a young gay who doesn't assert himself or herself?
Don't pay attention to what you're told, directly or indirectly. The one person you have to listen to is yourself. Stop hiding, just love yourself. Never forget that you're born this way. You're beautiful in your way.